Hey, David Judge here, and today we're going to discuss the elements that an online marketer like myself likes to see within a CMS or a content management system. Now, I'm actually a reasonably technically minded person, so I am going to break this down for you, although this is an intermediate subject where we're going to discuss the web usability perspective, and we're going to focus on what search engines want within a CMS in order to get the maximum result. Now, we're also going to discuss exactly what CMS is, the key areas you should be able to control, and why each one of these areas is so important. Okay, now, before we get into it, let's start by explaining exactly what a CMS is. Now, CMS, as I said beforehand, stands for Content Management System and is an easy way for non-technical people to add, edit, and manage content on a website. Now, while CMSs allow you to perform these tasks, a good content management system will actually perform a lot of behind-the-scenes work. So a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff you don't even see. Now, these include things like generating navigation elements, like your top navigation on your website, for example, setting up pages in a way where they can be indexed, found, and more preferred by search engines, keeping your website secure, which is really, really important, and a whole heap of other add-on functions. Now, Wordpress, you may have heard of Wordpress beforehand, is one of the most commonly used content management systems, and as it's totally free, it allows you to set up and customize so many areas at the same time. It's simple that nearly anybody can actually use it. So a lot of people can use it easily. Now, on the flip side, because WordPress is so commonly used, and here we are in 2014, it is the most commonly used content management system with over 60 million WordPress websites online. Now, there's a challenge with that. Now, the challenge is, because it's so commonly used and it's open source, or it's free as they call it, a lot of hackers try to and are successful in getting access to your website, and when they get in, they can do some really nasty stuff. So the first thing that any good CMS should have is a really good level of security. Now, WordPress have what they call plugins. Now, plugins are add-ons that customize the functionality of your website, and a very popular plugin that people use for security is called WordFence. And that's the first area. So the first area is to make sure you're covering off security. The second area is to focus on a SEO-friendly CMS. Now, a lot of CMSs say that they're SEO-friendly, so let's be a little bit more specific on exactly what it means to be an SEO-friendly CMS. The areas I consider most important are the ability to control the URL of each page. This is like the address of each of the pages on your website, like so. The ability to add title tags and meta description to each of your pages. To be able to set up different H1 headline tags for every single page. To be able to add images and alt tags to those images. To be able to control the pages that show on your navigation bar at the very, very top and the footer. And to be clean and load fast. This is really, really important as well because Google are placing it as a ranking factor, and it also affects the user experience of people coming through to your site. And also to be able to set up 301 redirects. So these are called redirects from old pages that point through to new pages. Now, this is for whatever reason. You may move a page, you may take a page of your website, and you want to direct it through to another totally different and relevant page. Also, support an XML sitemap. There are a number of these here, yeah? To have no frames within the site. Now, frames, if you don't understand it, Google it, because that's a bit of an intermediate term that we use. Not to actually be flash, not to have flash in them, because smart devices like iPads, iPhones, and all different types of Android devices, and etc., you can actually view a site on any of those devices. And finally, breadcrumb navigation. Now, you can see this here, and it's actually a much easier way for a search engine to see where a page fits in the overall picture of your website. Now, some of these, as I said, are a little technical, so you might need to Google them. But as we mentioned earlier, WordPress offers a lot of these functionalities as standard. So that's number 2. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is to allow the easy integration of social media. Now, this is pretty simple, and you should basically have the ability to add your social buttons to your site to allow people to comment, and where allowable, to place those comments onto their social profile and to show other important social information about your other presences. So to have your Facebook, your YouTube, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, so people can click on it and they can see what you're doing in each one of those different areas. Now, your social buttons, etc., should not over-empower the rest of your site, as they are there to actually support your website, and ultimately, you want to keep the visitors on your website as opposed to leaving your site. So they should be there, but it's important to make sure they don't totally overpower the experience. Now, when it comes to people leaving comments or interacting, there's a really good plugin called Discuss, which is actually a powerful platform that helps you control your comments and how people interact socially on your site. Now, this can actually be added to a lot of different types of CMSs, so it's not actually just locked into WordPress, and it's one of the best commenting systems in the marketplace and one of the most widely used commenting systems. Now, finally, this is the very last point, so number 4, and this is an optional extra. A CMS should contain the ability for you to create landing pages. Now, landing pages are an ultimate tool when you're using paid advertising, as they allow you to set up standalone pages on your website that present people with a clear, focused offer. And landing pages are really important, especially if you're performing or using any type of paid advertising. And as a matter of fact, I actually delve deep into a video that I've made previously here, where I go through and I explain the elements of a landing page and how they all fits together. Now, if you can get this on the site, along with other functions mentioned earlier, then you're on a very, very good CMS. Okay, so that's it. And remember, content management systems are supposed to be easy, non-technical, and give you the ability to add, edit, and manage your content. If they are too hard to do any of these areas or to perform any of these areas, then it totally defeats the purpose of having a CMS in the first place and the whole promise of why you would actually want to use one. So make sure you choose wisely and ensure you're covering at least 3 of the first areas around security, SEO, and social. And especially around the SEO part if you have a shopping cart site. A lot of shopping cart sites, as we come to discover as we work with clients, a lot of shopping cart sites, people find out after the event that there are a lot of limitations and things that they can't actually do from an SEO perspective. So go back and check on those SEO points that I spoke about beforehand. Okay, excellent, that's it. Let's wrap up, and in the next video, I'm going to talk about search engine visibility. Yes, we're going to discuss why search engine visibility is more than just ranking in the top spots for a few keywords, and why most SEOs are doing this whole thing the wrong way. If you have a question you would like me to answer, make sure you get in contact with me and I'd love to hear from you. As always, this is David Judge, talking online marketing and showing you, yes you, how to grow your business online.